boxing is just in my blood. Boxing is something that gives me passion, that gives me life. And I'd honestly be lost without boxing. Boxing gives me a sense of purpose. Yeah, growing up with my dad in my corner, it could be having a drill sergeant 24/7. I had to move out, because constantly hearing my dad yell at me in the gym and then yelling at me just to get the remote, or you know what I'm saying? It's just, he's Mexican, he's gonna yell at you for anything. But I know it comes from a place of love. My dad reached the highest, pinnacle of this sport, was an HBO fighter. Back when fighting was, a gladiator sport, even more, it wasn't about business, it wasn't about marketing. I think Floyd kind of put that cap on to these fighters now, but before it was just all about, you're the best at 154, all right, let's fight. Didn't matter about promoters, didn't matter about anything. It was just, you wanted to show the world that you were the best. So, but a lot of my dad's mistakes served me for good use as well. You are comfortable in your own skin and fight the way you fight. It's okay to pick up some mannerisms and tenacity, how your old man was, but to be known for certain characteristics the way you fight, I think that's what makes you special. And he opened up a gym. Emiliano was the first one in the gym, training as a little kid, and he fell in love with it, and I was just like, okay, let me just train, drop a little bit of weight, let me look okay, let me look good. But I remember, even fans remember me coming into the ring with my dad as a kid, having my number one up, me being ringside with my mom, my beautiful mom. I remember everything. I remember a lot of stuff being young. I just didn't really realize how big of a star my dad was. I thought that's just what he did, like he just boxed. But I don't understand fame, I don't understand. I would have people ask me all the time, like, how does it feel to be a son? Like, what do you mean? Like, how does it feel? Like, how does what feel? Like, I never understood that. But as you get older, you realize, like, my dad did this all by himself. So now that I'm doing this, and with all the help that my dad's pushing for us, to see where he took this by himself, take my hat off to my dad. I feel competitive with my brothers at times. Of course, I'd lie if I say it wasn't. I think brothers always want to outdo the other brother. Who got the best looking girlfriend? Who has the best car? Who has the best knockout? It's just, I think it's a brothers situation going on right there, but it should motivate us to, do good and, do right in the right direction. So I think that everybody has different opportunities. I feel everybody's hungry. I feel we all have the same hunger and drive, but everybody has different paths, I picked it up a little later. My brother Amado as well, and Emmy picked it up as a little kid. So obviously you see the stable and you see different things like that, and you have different fans ask like, oh, why isn't he fighting here, or why is he fighting there? Everybody's path's different, but we're all hungry and we're all on a quest to be world champion. I was in LA, and I was working with the world champion, Castaño. I'll never forget. That's when everybody was there. Fight Hype, Fight Hub, Ellie. I think it was like the media day we were sparring when we were trying to show out. Castaño drops me with a body shot. And there's a whole bunch of, there's nothing but media. And I get up right away, 30-second bell rings, and I'm trying to still go. And he just kind of put a high guard. I finished, but it was so embarrassing. I remember after I called my Nino, I was like, Nino, I got dropped. He's like, what happened? But by who? It was a world champion. He's like, it's a fucking world champion. You're in there with him. What the fuck? Like, he has experience over you. Like, you're in there. Hey, some shit happens. Like, if it was a bum, okay. But I was like, no, like, why the fuck did it happen? Like, I remember I was crying, like, so mad. I was just so frustrated. I felt embarrassed. But I think those growing pains, then when I sparred him again, I was like, all right, that's just not happening again. I'm not gassing out. I'm going to use my jab. I'm going to pace myself. I'm going to go to the butt. So I think growing pains like that as a fighter, You need that. There's days where I don't care what anybody says. I'm sure, you know what I'm saying? My dad didn't have good days in the gym, whatever the case may be, but just don't have an off night for the fight. I'd rather have that in training camp, but that's necessary for you to grow. I really do feel. You get knocked out pretty ugly, you're gonna be a meme. You're gonna be, you know, in some reels. You know, the internet's undefeated. So, but I can see how social media could get to you before a fight. You know, because you could let those antics or whatever just keep replaying, or you're seeing certain tapes of yourself or whatever. But I don't play into that too much before a fight. I'm me on social media. As far as what I want to show you, that's one thing. But I think what I show is genuine and who I am, who our family is. That's why a lot of people love us and could relate to us. You know, my dad was a people's champ. We're people's family. And what I want to show you is what I'll show, but it's 100% me. I think it's like this. I think they see me in a model, all the jewelry, glasses indoors, and you know, extra, and then you see Emiliano, he's more simple, doesn't wear one chain, but that's his style. So, I mean, if you're gonna judge someone for being simple, then cool, you like that style, that's better. But, you know, I'm unapologetic for me being myself, and, you know, I'm an extrovert, so I'm gonna express my individuality, and I like to dress, I like shoes. I think social media, I do show the jewelry a little too much, but hey, I think our generation likes it. I think there is certain pressure to be a Vargas. I think because the world knows it for being ferocious and mean and relentless and having heart. And I showed that in my last fight. You know, I got cut by a headbutt. This guy wasn't doing anything the whole fight. He comes in, jab, and brings his foot over, hits me. And before the round ends, I look, I'm wearing all white, mind you, and I'm leaking. I go to the corner, and I just keep bleeding. You know, I come out of the corner, and even the Vaseline, you would get a big glop of it, and it would just keep bleeding. So I knew I couldn't see anything, but certain situations are gonna be presented to you in a fight, and you know, I showed it. So if we have to show it in any fight, if we get dropped or whatever, there's nothing in my blood that's gonna make me quit. There's nothing in my blood that's gonna say, oh no, Dad, like, he's gonna have to do whatever he's gonna do, but me as a fighter, I would never, you know, I will always continue to fight because it's just in my blood. Legacy to me means I'm the author. A legacy to me means it's my chapter. Legacy to me means honor. I live in a different generation than my father did, and the former generations, thank God for them that they paved the way to where we are today, but you know, this is a new era of boxing. Boxing is just in my blood. Boxing is something that gives me passion, that gives me life. Nothing in my blood is gonna make me quit. And boxing gives me a sense of purpose. I am Fernando Vargas Jr.
In the know. B.E.S.T TV, we bring every seat together. Tune in, we're the vibe forever. Gamers, sports, fashion, so clever. Deserve the best, we'll leave you never.